Welcome to another Enchanted Forest Tales profile. Well, I'll be talking about characters from the Enchanted Forest Tales, and we're going to talk about Nipsey, the garden gnome. This one's pretty simple how I came up with him. Garden gnomes, I mean, they're popular in the world, so I wanted to kind of base it off there because I, of course, wanted a gnome in the story, and garden gnome makes sense for it, along with Mick does gardening. So I thought those two characters can work really well together. But I wanted to upgrade Nipsey a little bit more. So Nipsey is voiced by Blank Singularity, and he does a magnificent job for the voice. But Nipsey is basically a scientist for gardening. He is just a plant expert, a botanist, I guess you would say. Like if that's correct, I'd be 100% wrong here. But anyways, so he lives underground, and he lives in this like giant manor underground, along with like two giant gardens, and in those two giant gardens, he has employed more than like 30 other gnomes that work under there. He's kind of like, it's kind of like he made kind of like his own village, his own town per se, maybe, I guess, in this underground area, where not only that they work under Nipsey, but they actually like made homes there. So while Nipsey lives in the manor with some other gnomes that take care of his plethora of other plants that we still don't know too much about, the other gnomes kind of live in like little homes outside around the house and everything. And every day they would go work on the garden, and then sometimes they would work in the caves, and then to kind of expand. And then on top of that, he actually sends out scouters, people that go out and gather seeds and plants and stuff and bring them back where he can experiment in his lab. So you learn about this in episode 2, because at the end of episode 2 is where he loses his arm, due to a tragic accident with this plant that actually created Ivy, which you will learn more about. And at the end of episode 2, and then further on. So you could say that he is like the father of Ivy, but he doesn't want to claim that. So when Blaine came in to do the voice, my imagination for him was different than he was going for. I guess I was going for more like he was uppity, kind of just always curious about something. So he just brought in this voice that I thought just works really well. Oh, he always has this like mentality, this attitude, this process of like he's always curious about something. He always doesn't like awkward things, so he always kind of chuckles and laughs all the time and everything. But him and Mick have this bond due to gardening. So Mick goes to him for gardening advice, seeds, everything. So Mick normally doesn't go out to go get his stuff to go to the garden. He just goes to Nipsey to get the stuff he needs to grow in his garden, from his fruits, his vegetables, and all that. And then the other thing those two also have in common is Old Lady Faye from episode 4. And they all kind of have this little like kind of like a clique group or something like going on right there, I guess you would say. So they all like connect in that way, because Old Lady Faye also runs a garden, and her garden is pretty big, but hers is kind of like half and half she does, and then the other half Nipsey kind of helps supply her with other stuff too for her garden and whatnot. So I needed that connection from those two, that Mick actually has like buddies outside of what we know so far, other than like Dorn and Faye and Francis. So, and to show that that we will learn more about Mick's friends going down. But Nipsey's probably one of his, I guess you could say one of his closest friends so far that we know, that he visits quite often and everything like that. Now, the other thing too is he has one person that kind of like an assistant to Nipsey, and that is voiced by Ethan Doe, and his name is David. And of course, David, the name David actually came from like an old cartoon, David the Gnome, if anybody remembers that cartoon at all. So I just kind of put that name. But David in the story is nowhere near like the character from the cartoon. So putting those two together is quite hilarious and whatnot. So I'm hoping in the goal that we will definitely learn more about Nipsey's past. We'll learn about his more curiosity of the other plants. So I hope that you enjoy what Nipsey has to say, and that's all I have to say about Nipsey the Gnome. Thank you so much.